Hi and a warm welcome back to the garden. In this video I'm going to be showing you some of the jobs you can be getting on with during the month of July. One of the many rewarding tasks of July is to pick our strawberries. So continue to pick once the fruits are ripe and take these into your house or even eat them in the garden. There's nothing better than the homegrown strawberry. So I'm just going to raid this of all the fruits that are ready. And there's quite a few, and we've been having quite a lot of tubfuls of fruits over the past couple of days, which has been brilliant. It's saved us a fortune on buying fruit from the supermarket. I think that's probably it. Oh no, some more here. So a lovely punnet of strawberries we can take indoors and enjoy as a dessert. And another thing to do in July with strawberries is to make new plants from the runners. So the runners are these very long stems that come out from the plant, and they have these little beginnings of leaves starting to grow. And what we do with them is you place them into a container with compost, just so the top is just pressing down onto the top of the compost, and then we just secure that with something heavy like a bit of a stone, and that will produce roots and provide us with a new plant for next year. And the last thing I want to say about strawberries is remember to keep feeding them at least once a fortnight with a high potassium feed, and that will help to support all these juicy fruits farming. Continuing on the subject of fruits, I've come to our tomatoes, which are growing very happily in this vegetable bed. As with strawberries, we need to make sure that we give these a high potassium feed at least once a fortnight, and that will just support all these lovely flowers and help them to turn into beautiful ripe tomatoes. And we also need to make sure that we support the growth by making sure we tie them into some kind of support. I'm just using canes here just to stop them getting too top heavy and falling over. And lastly, if you're growing these plants as cordons, you need to be taking out the side shoots. So what we do is we look for these little shoots that are coming up where the main stem is and the leaf joint is, and we just remove them by hand. July is a perfect month for taking cuttings of perennials and also shrubs. So I'm here at our penstanum at the moment, and I'm just going to take some cuttings. They're really easy to do. You're looking for ideally non-flowering shoots, so if you can find side shoots, that's perfect. And you want to take them up a couple of inches tall and cut just below where a leaf joint is, and then we just remove the lower leaves. Pinch out the top, dab that into some hormone rooting powder and pop that in a pot of gritty compost. Give this a water, pop a polythene bag over the top, and that will just help to keep the moisture in. And then when you can start to see roots coming out the bottom, you can get these potted on into their individual pots. As well as penstanums, you can also do salvias, nepeta, buddleias, hydrangeas, the list goes on and on. You can also do perennial wallflowers. So this is our beautiful fragrant yellow wallflower. This is a perennial, and all we need to do with this one is look for, again, non-flowering stems, which on this one there are plenty. So I'm just going to cut a couple off here. So something like these, give them a dab in some hormone rooting powder, and then get in your container make a little hole and pop it down. And they will root within a matter of weeks. And just the same as before, you put a polythene bag over the top to keep the humidity in, and then when the container has roots coming through the bottom, we can then get them potted up into their individual containers, and you have brand new plants for free. Another task for July is to fill any gaps in your borders with annuals. These just fill the gaps in between your other plants. They're a non-permanent part of the garden, so they can be changed. They're only going to be for this season, and they just provide an extra splash of colour. We planted these beautiful cornflowers in here because we have had some issues with regards to the salvias not being as big this year, because we have planted some fresh ones in that are small. So to fill the gaps up, we've planted lots of these cornflowers, and they just look absolutely remarkable. And another thing to remember is to deadhead all the spent blooms, and that'll give us lots and lots more flowers to enjoy. Now that the sweet peas are growing really floriferous, we can now be enjoying these indoors. So just take as many as you want, cut them as often as you can to prevent them going to seed, and this will help to promote lots and lots of new flowers to enjoy. And also remember to feed them at least once a fortnight with a high potassium feed to keep all these lovely flowers coming. During this month, you'll also find that your foxgloves are starting to set seed. This is the perfect time to be sowing biennials such as foxgloves. So wait for these seed pods to turn brown, and you'll start to see little holes appearing, and then is the time when you can get a little paper envelope and start collecting the seed. You can literally get many thousands of seeds from these plants. And then if you scatter that seed over the top of some compost in a tray, you'll soon get lots and lots of new plants that can be planted out when they're big enough towards the end of summer, beginning of autumn. And foxgloves are not the only biennials. There's also the forget-me-nots and also the biennial wallflowers. With annuals like Cosmos now planted in their containers, we just need to remember to regularly deadhead, take off those spent blooms to encourage much more to follow and prevent them from setting seed. And also don't forget to take a few up as cut flowers for the house. With the early flowering geraniums such as geranium phaeum, now that they stop flowering, we can now give that a complete cut back right to the ground, and that will encourage a new flush of fresh foliage, and if we're lucky we'll get also a new flush of flowers. So all you need to do is go right back with your shears, chopping the whole plant right down to the base. And then we can give it a really good feed with some high potassium fertiliser and hope that we get a new flush of flowers, because this one will repeat flower. So that's the end of our selection of jobs for July. Of course, it's not an exhaustive list. There are lots and lots of things to do throughout the month of July. I've just picked some of the things that we'll be doing in this garden ourselves. I do hope you found this video informative and enjoyable, and please give us a like, please subscribe, and also if you do have any comments, please drop them in the comments box below. If there's any jobs that I've missed that are on your list for July, please drop them in the comments box. It'd be great to share those with other people and with ourselves. So we'll see you very soon on the next video. In the meantime, please do take care and happy gardening.